Welcome to PracticeEPR, the Patient Administration and Practice Management application. In this demonstration we're going to look at appointment scheduling in PracticeEPR, how to schedule planned appointments, how to schedule treatments for patients based on treatment plans, how to run a walk-in clinic, and how to manage a clinician diary. We're going to start with the latter point. Here we see a clinician's diary. We can see their availability. We can see any meetings they've got booked, and we can see any patient appointments, so none at the moment. We can also look at the calendars for colleagues, and this can be shown as either a Gantt chart of availability, or you can have the details shown on this page. You can look across multiple days, as a whole week, or as a whole month, and you can cycle through the time period looking ahead and looking at previous appointments. Okay. In order to allow others to access your calendar, a user must share their calendar with other users. Here we can see the calendar shared with all internal users. Okay, so I'm going to book a patient appointment who wants to come see me. I'm going to look at my diary for this week. And I'm going to select Wednesday as a date they want to come in. That works for both of us. I can just double click in the cell and pick the time for 10 o'clock. I select the patient who's already registered on the system, and I pick Sarah Wilson. Okay, I'm going to record some details about what the visit's about. I can provide some more information here as well if I want to. I can set the time for the appointment, how long I want it to last. Okay, we now have that ankle sprain booked in. That's booked in against me as a clinician, and it's booked in on the patient as well. So if I go to the patient and I look at their appointments, we see they also now have an appointment for 10 o'clock. And if I edit either one of those, the other appointment will move. Let's move this back. Let's move this to 10:15. Someone else comes in. Sarah's rung and says she's going to be running late. And I want to increase the duration to 45 minutes. Maybe I need some physiotherapy on it as well. Okay. If I go back to my diary here, I can see the appointment has been rescheduled for the same time and for the same duration. That's one way of booking patient appointments. Another way of booking patient appointments is from a patient themselves. Let's take the scenario where Sarah has come in for her appointment. She's in the clinic now, so I'm going to record an episode for that treatment. I'm going to put some details about the symptoms Sarah has. Say she had an injury while playing tennis. I'm going to make an initial diagnosis, but nothing more at the moment. Okay. It's automatically put a treatment on, a consultation, because the system's been set up to do that. And we can also schedule additional treatments if we need to. So I want Sarah to come back and see me in a week's time. For another consultation. And I'm going to set a due date on that for the 14th. Now, Sarah can either make an appointment now, or she can phone up later on to make an appointment with my administration staff. I'm going to book her in right now. The system's doing a search against the calendar and picking from the date at which the due date is, and making some suggestions of appointment times that I'm available. So any availability that I've already got booked in is excluded from the list of 30-minute appointments here. I'm going to make an appointment for 10:30. Okay, it's remembered it's Sarah, it's linked it to her treatment, and it knows it's the 30-minute duration. I'm going to save that. Okay, now if I look at my calendar on the 14th, I can see I have an appointment with Sarah Wilson. And I could have booked that in with a different clinician. I could have booked it in with the physiotherapist, or I could have booked it in with a doctor instead. Okay, that's one way of booking patient appointments. Now, another way we could have done that, if I go back to the first appointment we put in, let's just replay that scenario. We go back to the 7th of December. Let's say this is a booking I've already made, as we saw earlier. Sarah attends my clinic, she walks in, and I'm going to treat her. I'm going to complete that appointment from this screen. Now, this time I can create an episode, I can create details of the treatment, all from one screen, all from the diary. And this is more suitable for, say, allied health professionals. I can add it to an existing episode, or I can choose to select a new one. And I can pick what treatment I want. So Sarah has a possible sprained ankle. Let's see where these notes come out. Now, by saving that, it's done two things. It's marked that treatment as being complete, ready to be invoiced. It's created a new episode against Sarah. Let's go see that, the ankle sprain one. And it's both added a default treatment and the treatment I've completed here. Within that treatment were the details that we entered when we completed the appointment, and it's linked back to the appointment on the patient record. So that's a different way of booking patients and treating them. Okay, let's take another scenario. We have a clinic we're running. This could be a community care clinic, it could be a general appointment clinic, like any kind of clinic we want to run. We can check patients in as they arrive into the clinic. So let's make it a walk-in appointment. Let's find our patient. Let's use Sarah again. Let's check the time that they've arrived. And although we have durations, they're less important other than for booking out time for expected time. And if I want to, I can make an initial triage. I'm going to use the same ankle sprain scenario here. I'm going to say Sarah's got a minor injury. Okay. What we can now see is on our walk-in queue. I'll look at today's patient queue. And I've got a list of all the patients who have walked in today, and there we see Sarah Wilson on there. Now, as a clinician, I can go through that list. I can sort that list to look at the severity of appointments and what time the people arrived to work out who I should see next. I can take a patient, and instead of them being on the outpatients, I can take that patient into my clinic. Or I could assign that patient to another member of staff if I was doing management. And from that point, we can treat the patient exactly as we would normally. If I go to my calendar, I now have that patient appointment for Sarah. And just like before, I can go through the process of completing that appointment. And I can say what kind of care I've given. And here I'm just saying I've provided some treatment information, how to exercise, walk, and take ibuprofen and paracetamol. Again, I'm going to create a new episode for that one. And if we look at Sarah's record, it's one person who has a lot of ankle sprains, but we see the three different types of episode we've created from three different ways of using the system. Let's now look at the final way of using the system. Let's take a new episode. I'm going to call this treatment plan example. I'm going to use my ankle sprain again. I'll make an initial assessment. And I might then choose I've made a final diagnosis from my examination of Sarah. Okay. Now I've got the ICD-10 code here. You can use any coding system you like for diagnosis. I've made the final diagnosis, and what I can also do is pick a treatment plan related to that diagnosis code. So here we have 4 treatment plans that are all associated. I'm going to pick the ankle sprain grade 2 and save. And you see here all we had on the treatments was consultation. We now have a whole long list of treatments which are based on the care plan we selected, the ankle sprain grade 2. Now some of these may not be appropriate for the severity of Sarah's injury. I can choose to delete those if I've been given permission, or I don't have to book the appointment. It's usually better to remove them from the care plan. Now on this list I can look at which items are due to occur first, and I can book them in. So I see here there's 5 activities that need to occur immediately, and I may carry all those out immediately. So I know I've got consultation. I'm going to mark that as complete. That's what's happened now. I may or may not have given some ultrasound, and I'm going to give an elbow crutch. Mark that as complete. Now, there are some items also set for the future. So I want Sarah to come back in 5 days for an ultrasound. So I'm going to book her in, just like we saw at the start, from the treatment plan. I'm going to schedule that in when I'm first available. And I'm going to pick the 11th, Monday 11th at 11 PM, 11 AM. Okay. And I want to go back to Sarah's treatment. And you see here some of the items on the list are exercises to give the patient. So these are things that Sarah needs to carry out herself, which I can provide information on. And the information to undertake those can be attached to the care activity itself, if we so choose. That concludes the patient appointment booking and scheduling.